Hey, what's up guys, my name is Cameron Gallagher, and moving forward with the Magic Bullet Color Suite series, we're going to be taking a look at Cosmo and Denoiser. And these are very two specific and very interesting pieces of software within this color suite, and I think they're really awesome and super useful. But first we're going to start with Denoiser, which I think is a little more obvious of what it does. But anyway, so let's jump into Denoiser 3. Alright, so basically Denoiser 3 again is part of the color suite, and pretty much this is obviously just a noise reduction. So this is great when you're in a really dark spot and you have to bring up your ISO, or maybe you have to boost it later in post, and which I'll kind of show you both of these different options and sort of just kind of see how this does. So this first shot is a wedding I shot, and we were in a super dark ceremony. And this is the B cam, which actually doesn't get very good, it just doesn't have very good low light as it is. It's a Sony A77. I'm pretty sure it was at like, 3200 ISO or 2200 ISO, something like that. Much higher than I'd want it. And although it's not bad, if we see we can play back, whoops. We see when we play this back, it's not bad, but you can see there's kind of like this artifacting up in here, especially in these, pieces back here. Granted, we can see them, but the other thing is this is a little bit of a further shot than I wanted. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to zoom in just a touch, which is of course going to make things a little bit worse, the noise. And then we're going to brighten this too. So let's go into Magic Bullet Color, Colorista. Whoa, that's a little much. All right, let's not do that. So let's bring this up just a touch. We still don't want to lose those blacks. Well, maybe not that much. So something like that, where it looks good, but we can see, oh, that noise is so bad. All right, so this is a very bad version. Again, not a great camera, not a great codec, just top to bottom. Misses, but of course this is their wedding, and we want to make sure there's something looking good. So I'm going to go into effects, and I just did Magic Bullet. I'm going to drop Denoiser 3 on here, and let's take a peek and see what we can do. So one of the things that I love most about Denoiser 3 is that it's very, very, very simple to use. It's basically drag and drop, and then of course there's just some added stuff on top. And that's one of the things I love most, because one thing I found, we're going to set an out point here so this loops, is that I have Neat Video, and not hating on Neat Video by any means, I think it does a well job, but one of the biggest problems is you have to load noise profiles and do all this stuff. And it just seems like there's so much stuff I have to fine tune to get what I need, where Denoiser seems to be so much more drag and drop with a little fine tuning. And I think that's because Red Giant knows how to master underneath, under the hood type of software, but also have a really easy interface. So anyway, so we threw this on here. Let's loop this. I think this is the loop. So we can see this is just going to loop here. And that's terrible. All right, so let's pause it. Let's throw on Denoiser. Now this is just right out of the box. Alright, so you can see that's not doing a huge amount, although it is getting rid of some of that real nasty tight stuff. So let's reduce the noise even more. Let's do it up to 50. Smooth colors, preserve detail, sharpen a little bit. We're definitely going to sharpen quite a bit. Ooh, that's a little much. Ooh, I don't like that. Let's do 0.5. Alright, so let's see how this looks now. Alright, so you can see that is much better. Now granted, this is a very, very extreme case, but you can see where that just turned that, which you get all of that ugly aliasing, and it just looks really muddy. And then now we turn it back on. We can still see a little bit up in that yellow, but it's much cleaner. And this is something that, that's the difference to me of a client noticing noise. Clients don't generally notice little bits of noise, but something like that where it's really muddy looking and all that kind of stuff, that's something that a client is going to notice. So again, this is a very, very extreme case, but you can see how nicely that cleans up. Like I said, other than just that little top section, but that is much better. But now I'm going to show you more of what you probably will run into. Okay, so this is a music video I shot, and basically we shot it in this place that had just black walls, and although it's nice, the problem is we didn't have any way to bounce light back onto him, anything like that. So the issue I have is that it's a little bit dark. So we're actually going to go in, actually, you know what? We're going to go into, we're going to go into looks. We're going to add a look on top of this. I'm going to do a video on looks very soon too, so that's going to be coming soon, but you'll kind of see a little bit of it right now. We're going to do Blockbuster. There's one that I really love. I think it says Classic Tension. Yeah, Classic Tension. Okay, so that looks great, but it's very dark. So we're going to have to come in and we're going to go into Colorista. I will say, if you're on the 2017 Premiere Pro, it is super hiccupy. So this is Ursa Mini footage. I have never had a problem editing this type of stuff, but with this update, it has been so bad. So if you haven't updated, don't do it. So let's bring that way up, and let's bring those midtones up a touch. So something like that looks pretty good. The problem is, now, especially with the Ursa Mini, we introduce a little bit of that fixed pattern noise. And, you know, on YouTube it may be kind of tough to see, but there is definitely some fixed pattern noise going on in here, especially back here in these blacks and in the more like under his chin, that stuff, the shadow of his faces. Again, it's not huge, but it kind of bothers me, and it's something that you can definitely see, like I said, especially with the Ursa Mini with that fixed pattern noise, which is ugly, ugly, ugly. So let's go in and let's drop Denoiser. Whoops, Denoiser. Denoiser on there. All right. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go down here, and this is gonna be pretty subtle. Let's do reduce noise by 25. Leave the sharpening, preserve detail by 20, and smooth colors we'll do 25 as well. All right, so let's watch this back here. The biggest difference you can see is back here, and again, this may be hard to see on YouTube, but you can see a lot of different stuff, like a little bit of noise and also some artifacting and some of that fixed pattern noise throughout. But again, when we throw this denoiser on, you can see it sort of gets rid of that. It smooths these things out. Now again, I know this may be a little bit tough to see through YouTube compression and all that kind of stuff, but trust me when I say that Denoiser does a very, very, very good job of getting rid of the fixed pattern noise. Now we're going to take a look at Cosmo, and this is a very interesting piece of software that I think has a really, really great implication to it. All right, so this next portion here I'm going to show you some of the behind the scenes of our recent short film, which you can see on my other YouTube channel, which is all about the little short film we made for my road wheel competition. So, of course, you can see my face here. Oh, what an ugly mug, right? No. So, one of the things that, basically what Cosmo does is it's kind of the joke, you know, like Cosmopolitan, that sort of like, you know, makeup, face, that sort of thing. So, as you can see, if I were to be doing like an interview, and like, for instance, myself, I don't have great skin. You know, I have some acne. I have some, just, you know, like, just in general, my skin is not the greatest. So this is sort of that way to polish up someone's face. Now this may seem a little bit odd, but it actually comes in really, really handy when you're shooting interviews with corporate people who, you know, maybe they're older, you know, they have wrinkles, different things like that. Maybe someone does have really bad skin. And it's sort of a way to make sure that you're enhancing, but you're not obviously completely changing someone's skin. So let's grab Cosmo. We're going to throw it on there. So what we're going to do first, we're going to grab this little eye drop, and we're going to select my skin. So I selected my skin, show selection, so it's going to show you basically what is being selected. Of course, we can adjust the tolerance here if we want to, which we'll mess with a little bit. So it's kind of like a keyer in a sense. And then after that, what we can do is we can do skin smoothing, so we can smooth my skin out a little bit. Maybe we'll do like 14, preserve detail, keep that at preserve contrast. Sharpen texture, of course, we could change that a little bit. Again, color correction, so if we really wanted to, we could hop over to the color. We could look at our vector scope. Let's close out the parade and waveform. So we can see that my skin is a touch off. Now, granted, I graded this way, but of course, we could shift it over if we felt that it was off enough. I think that's super handy. Because the way I look at it is there's a lot of times where, you know, I shoot something and I grade it and maybe it's like, oh man, the skin is just a tiny bit off. like it's a little bit yellow and I seem to can't pull that out, or it's a little bit too pink, that sort of thing. So that's a nice little way to just easily pull back and forth and sort of get rid of that one way or another. And of course we can see now that my skin is much smoother. And of course, if I really wanted to, I could like way overdo it, and I could almost look borderline airbrushed. And again, I think it depends on the client and what you're doing. I think this is an amazing little piece of software that's very fast, works very efficiently, and it's nice and drag and drop. But I think it's really comes in handy when you have a client who, they might be very picky about their own image, or, someone in their company's image, especially maybe if they're in that beauty or fashion industry, and, maybe they had a bad hair, or, not bad hair day, you can't change that. And, maybe someone had just a bad day for their skin, or, something, and you can sort of give them that little extra push without it looking fake or unrealistic. And of course, this looks kind of fake, but, you can probably get away with it. And that's, I think, one of the greatest things about these two different softwares is Cosmo and Denoiser, they're really simple and small tools that may seem small in the scheme of things, in color grading and finishing, but at the same time, they're very important because, as you can see, denoising an image makes it look so much better for a client, especially when it comes to, like something like a wedding where you don't want it to be really noisy and nasty looking. But then same with Cosmo when it comes to smoothing out someone's skin who's, a corporate or something like that, where you want to just give them that little extra push and that little nice skin smoothing. And I think they're two very amazing softwares. Again, all part of the color suite. And again, I have nothing to do with Red Giant. They did send me these, but of course that was my own, I'm allowed to say my own opinion. So be sure to stay tuned because I do have a couple more tutorials for film and looks, and then also Denoiser, which is kind of like a cool grain add-in. So anyway, those tutorials are going to be coming very soon. I also have some very special stuff. I'm actually waiting for a GH5 to come in the mail that I rented for a couple days. I'm going to shoot a wedding with it, as well as just kind of shoot some test stuff. I'm still going to be working on the Aperture 120T review. Now, I know there's a ton of reviews online about that light, but I find that I'm going to talk about some of the different things that people don't talk about, in owning the light and how to use it, and different things I don't think a lot of other tutorials and reviews go over. So I'm going to have that coming very soon, as well as something that's very interesting, which is a battery solution for the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera. I mean, it could technically be for almost any camera. That's $100, and that can actually run my pocket camera up to 7 hours, as well as a lav microphone I got off Amazon for $15. So I tested those out. Those are very interesting. I'm really excited to show you those reviews coming soon. So please make sure to like and subscribe if you don't already. Share the video if you liked it, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys soon.